morning, everyone. Today I am going to be talking about the Inti Raimi. This festival is like a very deeply spiritual and communal event that has been around for centuries. And before getting into more detail, I would like to ask if any of you know what is the English translation of Inti? Sun. Exactly. And does anyone know the translation of Raimi? No? It's celebration. So yeah, basically the name already says what it's going to be. It's a celebration of the sun, which the sun is their deity, their god. So Inti, he is, rather than being seen as a celestial body, he is more seen as a deity. So he is revered too for nurture of the crops. He is the source of life, of warmth, fertility, specifically of their crops. And yeah, they pray to him to ensure prosperity. And they do many things to revere this god. For example, they do offerings, food, sacrifices, and between the offerings, there's some things like corn and chicha. I also want to ask if any of you have tried chicha before. Did you like it? Yeah. Do you know what it's made out of?
Corn.
Yeah.
Fermented corn.
Fermented corn, exactly. So the more traditional way of doing it is that they chew the corn, they spit it into a bowl, and then they let it ferment. Yeah, and then there are also, for the sacrifices, there were not only animal sacrifices, but there were human sacrifices. And this is very important because since they wanted the sun to nurture their crops, and the day where this event took place is June 21st, which is the shortest day and the longest night. It's when the sun was farthest away from the earth. So they would make big offerings in hopes that the sun would come back and nurture their crops and just continue to give them prosperity. And this brings me to my second point, which is that the Inti Raimi marks the winter solstice. As I said, it is the shortest day and the longest night. And how this works is that basically we have the northern and the southern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it is the shortest day, while in the northern hemisphere, it is the longest day. And yeah, so that's how it works. And yeah, so this is, it signals the promise that Earth will come back. And since they relied heavily on agriculture, it was very important for them to have sun for their crops. And this was also very significant in Cusco, which is the heart of the Incan civilization. This is also where the Temple of the Sun is. And this is where they held all of their preparations, their events, basically everything is held there. And this brings me to my last point, which is that the Inti Raimi is a festival that brought the community together. Many of the, let's say, locals and indigenous communities, they would come together this day and they would celebrate it in Cusco, as I said, which is the heart of this place. This festival was established at around 1430s. There are many sources that state a different dates, but for the most part, it was around there. And it was established by the Inca Pachacuti. And as I said, thousands of people would gather in Cusco, not only then, but also now. And many tourists even like to come and see this event because it is very joyous. They have very colorful, traditional attire. They also have very intricate choreographies. They have rituals. They have music and just many things that make it such a joyous event to attend to. And there's also this song that it is very popular nowadays, and you have all probably heard it, but you just haven't paid attention to the lyrics, so I'm gonna play a little fragment of it. So I'm guessing everyone has probably heard the song here before. And yeah, basically the lyrics, if you listen to the whole song, apart from the lyrics that you can see, it's very joyous. It has a lot of energy and celebration. It also mentions a part where the locals, they go out to drink, they go to the plaza. And yeah, this is also what they did back then and now. The locals drink beer specifically. And they also had these masks called the pumas, and this is what they would wear specifically for this event. What is also very interesting is that in this day, June 21st, they would read their fates on cocoa leaves. So they would get a cocoa leaf, they would interpret it, they would see how like prosperous their next year was going to be, or basically just all sorts of things about their future, and then they would burn it in hopes of like fulfillment. And there was also a procession of mummies that went from like shrines and temples all the way to Plaza Haucaipata, a square that is now known Plaza de Armas in Cusco nowadays. And something very interesting is that they used to sacrifice, as I said, animals, but they sacrificed 2,000 llamas on this day. So basically all of the streets and the square specifically, it was filled with the blood of these llamas. And also another thing that they did is that they had this person that was like the Sun King, which is called the Sapainca. And this person, he was supposed to be like a reincarnation of the sun god, or a direct descendant from him, and they would carry him all throughout the streets in a golden chariot. Then this festival obviously was banned by the Spanish rule at around the 16th century, and it was kick-started again in 1944 until now. And so in conclusion, the Inti Raymi, it is more than just a festival. It is it is a sacred tribute to the sun god. It is also a marker of the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere, and it is also a powerful force of the community getting together and uniting.